Hello, I'm Deanna Cantrell. I'm the San Luis Obispo Police Department Police Chief. Important that you know that we work really closely with Cal Poly PD as we do all of our regional partners here in San Luis Obispo County. If your student is 18 years of age or older and they get involved in something in the city of San Luis Obispo, we will not be notifying you. We will notify you through Cal Poly. So we will contact Cal Poly, we contact the police department and let them know anytime we have any kind of contact, especially criminal in nature, that kind of contact. But if your student gets injured or something of that nature and we get called to a hospital, we let Cal Poly know, and then they will in turn let you know. But if your student is 18 or older, I think they will only let you know if your student is registered through the Cal Poly portal. So make sure that you log on and get registered as the emergency contact for your student, so that you can find out if something has happened to them, whether they're on campus or in the city of San Luis Obispo. I want you to understand what our goals are in San Luis Obispo, and our goals are around reducing harm, and that's reducing harm for everybody. First, we reduce harm by reducing crime and the fear of crime, and I don't have time to go into all of that. We reduce harm by increasing multimodal safety. We reduce harm by increasing our internal health and wellness of our staff in the police department. We reduce harm by strengthening our regional partnerships. And we reduce harm by prioritizing and increasing our community engagement. And so those are our goals here in San Luis Obispo. This picture is a picture of a young man who drank too much and decided to take a nap in the middle of the street. And lucky for him, it was a San Luis Obispo police officer that came upon him, and not somebody that maybe had also been drinking and driving, that may have found him and may not have seen him. And so we just want you to know that, you know, your decisions, and we don't expect you to come here and be perfect and do nothing and never drink too much or go to a party or anything like that. We don't expect that. But we just want to make sure that you understand that, you know, your decisions are going to have long-term impacts, and your students' decisions are going to have long-term impacts on their lives. And especially, you know, if they get a DUI or get involved in some other criminal behavior, then that's a permanent record for them. And you know as well as I do that when businesses are looking to hire somebody, they may not go with the person who has the criminal offense. So this is more about long-term impacts and long-term effects based on decisions that are made while you're a student or while you are here in San Luis Obispo. So SLO is not Vegas. San Luis Obispo is not Vegas. What happens in San Luis Obispo will follow you back to campus. And so if you are engaged in something in the city, and the biggest things we contact your students over are alcohol and drugs and noise. Those are really probably the three biggest reasons that we have contact with your students. And so if your student or you, if I'm speaking with students, gets engaged in something that maybe you get arrested for, a DUI or a shoplift or a theft or something of that nature, so not only will you have the sanctions that will happen for you in San Luis Obispo, like you have to go to court, you'll have to pay fines, those kinds of things, but it will also go back to campus. And so you will, you know, face some discipline on campus. So just make sure that you understand that just because you're in the city of San Luis Obispo doesn't mean that it's not going to impact you at Cal Poly. We do lots of campaigns, and we partner with ASI and other student groups on campus to work on these campaigns. One of them we did was called Lock It or Lose It, and we talk about that all the time. We really, really want you to lock your stuff up and to take your things out of your vehicle, because it's not going to do you much good to just lock your car and leave your laptop sitting on your seat, because then you're just going to get your window busted and they're going to steal your laptop. So we want you to remove all of your items out of your vehicle, take them inside at night, and then lock your vehicle up and don't leave it unlocked, because we have a lot of thefts. That's probably our highest amount of crime is just thefts. This is a picture of several laptops and a puppy, a super cute puppy. Those were all stolen, including the puppy, mostly from students. So please do us a favor and lock up your stuff while you're here. Bicycles, that's another thing. Lock your bicycles up. U-locks are recommended. Double U-locks are really, really recommended. And we would ask that you register your bicycle either with UPD or you can register your bicycle with San Luis Obispo Police Department. Last year we had over 300 bicycles stolen. Some more campaigns that we did with students and partnered with Cal Poly on were Avoid Party Regret. And this is, because that's one of the main things that we contact your students or you about. And don't be that neighbor. And so what we're asking our students to do when they are in San Luis Obispo and they are in a residential area is to just be a good neighbor, is to go over and say, hey, I'm Deanna and I'm your neighbor and here's my phone number. And I might get a little loud sometimes and I might do something that annoys you, and I would appreciate if you would just contact me or let me know and I'll take care of that before we ever involve the police department. And we would really, as a police department, we would really appreciate not getting those kinds of calls. If that could be worked out amongst neighbors, that would absolutely be fantastic. So the last one is about personal safety. And we're a largely safe community. We have mostly property crimes, but we do have some persons crimes. And so I would just ask you to please be conscientious of that. If you're going to go out and go to a party or maybe go downtown to the bars if you're 21, have a sober friend with you. Make sure that you always have one person in your group that's keeping an eye on the overall group and not letting anyone walk home alone, not letting people maybe leave with other people that they don't know, those kinds of things. Would also ask you to, while you're walking, we had my first year here in 2016, we had a young man that had his earbuds in and was walking towards campus, and a train was coming. The trains come right through town, and they cut right across campus. And so he was walking, and there was a train coming, and he didn't hear it. The train conductor blew the horn as loud as he could and put on the brakes, but it takes forever to get that train to stop, and that young man walked right out in front of the train. If you're out in the community, have one earbud in so that you can hear what's happening around you. And if you go out with friends, always have somebody that's with you that isn't going to get involved in drinking and can kind of keep an eye on each other that way. Vehicles cannot be stored on city streets. So we have lots of parking districts in the city, and all of the communities around campus are parking districts. And so you cannot park in those parking districts without a permit, and you can't get a permit unless you live in that particular neighborhood. So you can't park there. If you do, you are probably going to get cited. There are quite a few citations for parking in the city of San Luis Obispo, and those citations range from about $40, and then they go up from there. And so we don't want you to get cited. And we're asking you not to bring a vehicle to campus anyway. As a freshman, it's a very easy city to get around between busing and biking and walking. But if you do have a vehicle for some reason, just know that you can't park in residential parking districts, and there's lots of signs, so you should know that you can't park there. And then the other thing is that if you do park on a city street, your vehicle has to be moved every 72 hours, or it also will get towed, and you'll get cited for that as well. We have a fair amount of homeless folks in San Luis Obispo. And we have these meters, the meter that says making change count. And I think last year we got about $10,000 in those meters. And that money goes directly towards all of our social services that are helping our homeless community. We find that the money given directly to a homeless person doesn't help as much as you think it might help. It's helpful if they would either put it in those. Last but certainly not least, and very important, is all of our contact information. So thank you for your time.